As we all know, being a bus driver is a big responsibility, and we work hard to operate our buses safely at all times. But bus rollaway events do occur all too often in Australia. That's why we have created this safety video to make drivers aware of the dangers, the safety controls and the preventative measures we need to take to stop rollaways from happening.
What is a bus rollaway event? A rollaway is considered any uncontrolled movement of a bus due to gravity or the motive power of the engine. How does a rollaway occur? It's simple. The driver forgets to, or for some reason does not apply the park brake. The bus then rolls on a decline or drives forward, depending on if the bus is left in neutral or drive. So how common are bus rollaways? You may be surprised. According to a Prime Mover article, on average, one heavy vehicle rollaway occurs every day in Australia. And emergency services are called out to assist with one of these incidents every week. Bus rollaways research shows in Victoria alone, 47 bus rollaways have been reported since the year 2000, resulting in injuries and fatalities to drivers and passengers, and damage to infrastructure, homes and vehicles. A separate Frost and Sullivan poll found that roughly 60% of heavy vehicle fleets have experienced a rollaway or runaway crash over the past 24 months, and an alarming 18% of these resulted in fatalities. In fact, the true number of rollaway incidents that happen every year in Australia is really unknown, as many more minor incidents go unreported. Where do rollaways usually occur?
In the bus transport industry, there are clear statistical patterns evident in rollaway incidents. Most rollaway occur at the depot or terminus, but they also happen often at shopping centers and locations such as a school or tourist attraction. They less frequently occur on a road where a bus has simply broken down.
When do rollaways typically occur? Most bus rollaways occur mid-service, usually when the driver is taking a break. However, they can also occur during start-up pre-trip inspections and at the end of the shift when the bus is being cleaned. What time of day do rollaways usually occur? Statistics show mornings are the worst, with 50% of all bus rollaways happening from 7 to 11 a.m. Now, let's look at what was happening at the time of most rollaways. 38% of rollaways occur when drivers are taking a break. 21% occur when drivers stop to fix a problem. Interestingly, 12% of rollaway incidents occurred because the driver had an urgent need for a toilet stop. And finally, what do rollaway buses crash into? The data shows rollaway buses typically crash into infrastructure, such as fences or a building. Those buses stopped by nothing do not hit anything because someone has pressed the door open button or activated the park brake, or the bus has stopped naturally because of the slope of the road.
Now let's check out the most common rollaway bus scenarios. It's important to be aware of these typical rollaway events so you can control and, more importantly, prevent them.
First, there's the break scenario. Here, drivers are taking a break during their shift. They stop at a terminus, for example. The driver then steps out of the bus and in the process does not apply the park brake. Next, there's the toilet scenario. Here, drivers need a toilet break urgently, and at the bus stop, they leave the bus running, open the doors using the door console buttons and exit the bus. In their hurry, they forget to apply the park brake. And third, there's the fix-it scenario. In this situation, there is a mechanical issue with the bus, such as noises coming from the engine or the ignition not working. The driver may have also stopped the bus to check for something on the road. When the driver exits the bus to check, again, the park brake is not applied. Of course, there are other rollaway scenarios, but it is important to take note that these three typical situations account for 98% of all bus rollaways reported.
In your business, there may be a number of rollaway safety controls in place, including a combination of engineering and administration controls to help minimize the risk of bus rollaways. These are all about changing human behavior to encourage drivers to take precaution against rollaway hazards.
Let's start with the engineering controls that can be built into buses to minimise the risk of bus rollaways. First, there's the park brake seatbelt alarm you may have heard before. Here's a quick demonstration. Second, there's the door brake interlocking feature installed on some buses that engages the vehicle's service brake when the bus is running and the doors are open. Third, there's the door brake interlock secondary release mechanism installed on most newer buses, which after the door has been closed, requires the accelerator or brake pedal to be pressed before the door brake interlock will release. Fourth, there's the park brake open-close door buttons interlocking feature installed on some buses, where the external buttons used to open and close the doors will not work unless the park brake is on. And fifth, there's the ignition interlock feature, which is able to be retrofitted to most buses, which means the vehicle cannot be turned off unless the park brake is applied. Next, let's cover administration controls. They include your driver training handbook, signs and stickers to remind you to apply the park brake every time, regular notices from your safety team on correct park brake procedures, and training modules and assessment. There are several key things we need to do as drivers to ensure the safety of ourselves, our passengers, and the public whenever we get behind the wheel. Let's just run through the driver's key safety responsibilities before we hit the road. First, there's your pre-departure safety check. Before starting your check, make sure the vehicle is in neutral and the park brake is on. Remember, you must never shut the doors from the outside while doing these checks, and it is recommended not to move away from your vehicle while it is running. Next, there's standard park brake procedures. The park brake must be applied every time the bus is stationary and before you intend to leave the driver's seat for any reason. And never use the park brake lever to hold your lanyard or any other object at any time. Then there's the park brake seatbelt alarm, which may be fitted to your bus. The park brake seatbelt alarm is activated when drivers remove their seatbelt and the park brake has not been applied. You can only deactivate the alarm by applying the park brake. Remember, you must not leave your seat at any time if the alarm or red light is flashing. And finally, it's very important to know your bus. Not all buses are fitted with an interlock braking system or the same type of bus interlock system. It's your responsibility to use the pre-departure check to familiarise yourself with the controls your vehicle is fitted with. Never rely on the door interlock to brake your vehicle. Use the park brake. Let's hope it never happens to you. But if it does, what should you do in the event of a rollaway bus? Move away from the path of the vehicle. Do not attempt to stop the vehicle, regardless of the vehicle's size. Warn others in the area. After the vehicle has come to a stop, assess the immediate area for signs of danger. If there is any sign of danger or risk or the area looks unsafe, do not enter the vehicle to apply the park brake. Remember, trying to stop a rollaway vehicle once it's in motion has a high risk of serious injury or fatality. Let's just recap the 8 key things we've learned today. Number 1. Applying the park brake every time the vehicle is stationary is the single most important action you can take to prevent bus rollaways. Number 2. The majority of bus rollaways incidents share common factors that are key contributors. Number 3. If fitted, the park brake seatbelt alarm is activated when a driver removes their seatbelt and the park brake has not been applied. Number 4. If the park brake seatbelt alarm is sounding or the red light is flashing, you must not leave your seat. Apply the park brake and contact your support team if you need further assistance. Number 5. When the vehicle has come to a stop for any reason, you must first apply the park brake to secure the vehicle and stop it moving forward or backward. Number 6. You cannot rely on the interlock braking controls as a method to secure the vehicle. The park brake must always be applied. Number 7. Drivers should use the pre-departure check to familiarise themselves with the controls the vehicle is fitted with. And number 8. Never try to stop a rollaway vehicle if you are outside of the vehicle.